Whenever the topic for discussion comes up regarding status of women in India, immediately it conjures of images of illiteracy, of discrimination and exploitation. At the same time, however, there's another reality which has been steadily emerging, particularly in the last decade or more. And that is about women entrepreneurs in the role of business leaders. With more than about 13 years now in being in education and training for family managed businesses at SPJIMR, we have observed that there are a number of factors which are responsible for the shift which is taking place in women entrepreneurship in India. One is certainly the changing family structure from joint family system to nuclear family. In such a family structure, women perceive themselves to be a significant partner in terms of providing for the family, and therefore they become important players in their family businesses. Another factor, of course, is about the increasing education and exposure that the emerging women entrepreneurs have, and which makes them far more confident and motivated to take up leadership challenges in the field of business. Having said that, the journey to being a successful businesswoman is still fraught with many challenges. There are a number of discontinuities, disruptions in the life of a woman. Managing the commitments to business and managing life transitions like marriage, children, taking care of the old, which pose tremendous role conflicts to the women entrepreneur. In our maiden venture of FMB Links, we have made an attempt to understand some of these facilitating as well as the inhibiting factors that make a woman successful in their family business. So we have with us a few of our FMB women alumni who are carving out a niche for themselves in their family business. And we would like to hear from them what is it that is making them go forward and making themselves successful.
I can clearly remember because even when I was 7, I used to go to the factory, and at that point in time it was just a picnic.
There was never any pressure to perform in academics itself.
Our dad's always interacted with us about work at home as well. He's always taken us to work during our holidays, tried that we sit down with the main important people of our offices and try and get inquisitive about things.
I think I grew up in a very carefree environment. The only thing I remember is because my father was working with the Birlas, so there was a lot of, we moved to a lot of places. Particularly there was no, I don't think there was any seed really at that point in time to say that I'm going to be a part of the business or not going to be, is there going to be a business?
And our father would just lure us in with a bottle of Coke or some snacks at the end of the day. So we would run around the factory floor and we would know that, okay, this is ours.
They made me very hands-on as an individual, because I think all these things take you, help you in this part of your life when you are actually in business.
So the feeling of owning the business, or the feeling of having something of your own which you can have at the end of your childhood was there.
Actually, my parents pushed me more in all co-curricular activities. My mother used to take me early morning at 5 to go and play basketball. My dad used to drop me for swimming classes.
As time went by, it went on to become small things like, okay, check this accounts file, or go check the cash memos, or go find the purchase guy. So it was growing up with the factory.
It was that do your best, be a good student, be a good human, and perform well in whatever you do. Do your best in all that.
From childhood, you know that you're coming, so everyone knows that, oh, ye Seth ki daughter hai. In most family businesses, there's no formal induction as such.
I started my work not with my father, but with my father-in-law. They asked me what would I like to do. I said I would love to join the business.
As soon as you graduate, one fine day you're sleeping, your dad wakes you up and says, okay, enough of you lazing around.
It was one of the prerequisites that I had kept before my father-in-law, before I said a yes, that I want to work.
My induction happened along with FMB, if I must say that it was with the application of FMB that's when I started going to office and taking my job very seriously.
There was a good induction process that I went through. I think it lasted for around 10 months.
And I was immediately taken in, and to start with I was put in the design department to understand the product. Spent a couple of months there, and then of course we have a plant in Gurgaon. That's where me and my husband, we both were sent for a year-long training.
I think I grew up in a very carefree environment. The only thing I remember is because my father was working with the Birlas, so there was a lot of, we moved to a lot of places. Particularly there was no, I don't think there was any seed really at that point in time to say that I'm going to be a part of the business or not going to be, is there going to be a business?
So when you finally start coming, the first impression that they have in mind is, oh, she's going to drink some Coke, have some snacks, and then go back home. So no one trusts you with any new work because they think you're going to run away from it eventually. So the first hurdle is to get over their mindset.
So before sitting in the offices, we were made to have a nice grinding done on the shop floor with the workers, with the supervisors.
They told me that you were just a trainee and you could do only up till what you are studying. Nothing more than that.
And when I joined back in 2002, I was handed over both portfolios, one of starting up the commodity and the currency segment, and the second to start up the internet broking desk. Since both were absolutely new, I was a bit taken aback as to how I would really, understand that business, gain a footing, how would I build a team, especially when the team required is of professionals of high caliber. I was not sure how I would be able to lead that team. Given my so-called, just a graduation degree backing me.
Eventually, everything starts rolling. You go through the various departments within your family business, and then you find your forte.
Yes, when I entered office the first day and when people were telling me a good afternoon or a good morning, that was out of compulsion. But I'm sure that when I entered today, it's out of the respect that I have earned over these past 3 years for the work that I have done out there, which is most important for me. I think family managed business का सबसे बड़ा disadvantage ये होता है that nothing is given to you on the platter. Power, position, nothing. So you have to grab it.
If you're passionate about your business, you tend to keep thinking about it all the time. So be it your dinner table, be it your coffee in the morning, you tend to keep talking about work, and so that's why it's difficult sometimes to kind of create a barrier.
Also, the fact that weekends for us, there's no weekend. When you work in the family business, you get woken up on a Sunday morning and are asked the same questions.
I think that's very important because that's the challenge, that you have to keep a healthy family life and a healthy work life.
I really don't think there is any difference between men and women whatsoever. I think we can be as authoritative as men are, we can be as decisive as men are, we can be as calculative as men are.
You always have a soft corner. You get that soft corner from everybody for that matter. It's a general phenomena that people would tend to take women more seriously. If I look at disadvantages, yes, for sure you have a lot of responsibilities, home if you're married, and your kids if you have. So along with that, being seriously at work and giving the full 100% of your time to your work is kind of difficult, but I think that's where the satisfaction comes.
I think I truly believe that being a woman in business, and especially your own family business, adds that added emotional angle to the business. They ask me, what's emotions got to do with business? But I think in a family business, there are a huge amount of, I think the reason they have the edge is the passion that drives the business. And I think women add that different angle of that passion in terms of understanding people, inferences, perceptiveness of colleagues, employees, and as well as all the different stakeholders of the business, including the manager owners.
Most women and men in general, they find it very appalling that a girl is going to the factory where there are more than 100, 200 workers working on a daily basis. Socially, there was resistance like, why is he making this do from a girl? Like, what is expected out of her? anyway, eventually she has to get married. So why this right now? Which obviously over a period of time, it all wears out when people see the work you're doing.
They are also family, so you can't fight with them. It's not like they're your boss and you've done your day's job and you're going back home, so it's all sorted. A lot of times those things they are still there in your mind. So it's very difficult to kind of cut off where your work stops and where family starts.
The main problem that I think a woman faces, or I faced, was time management, the kind of dedication and priority you need to list down in terms of your work, your home. I've kept my life very distinct. Once I'm in office, I think I barely talk about home or anything related to home. And once I'm at home, then there is nothing related to work.